Meat Boy is finally back in what feels like ages with Super Meat Boy 3D. Now, does this live up to the cult classic Super Meat Boy? Or is it something of a bit of a flop like Super Meat Boy Forever? Well, I'm going to decide that right now with the review of Super Meat Boy 3D. This finally feels like a true successor to Super Meat Boy. It oddly feels so natural that I'm surprised they haven't done this before. Everything about it feels super authentic. The controls feel spot on. The environments and characters are straight up into the weird chaos that is the Meat Boy world, and the addictive, challenging stages are definitely not in short supply. Now, going into this, I had some sneaking suspicions, because Super Meat Boy was a precision 2D platformer, and whenever you translate something into 3D, you're going to lose a little bit of precision, and that feeling was a little true, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because no matter what, you're never going to be as precise as you are in 3D than you are in 2D. But the game features a nice little drop circle, so you always know wherever you're going to land, and the controls are solid enough to where it feels consistent. But the real key element is how the stages were designed. They are a lot more forgiving off the start, and they let you gradually grow and learn. And it's paced a lot more slower than the original Super Meat Boy, which I overall think is a good decision, because overall 3D can always be a bit more challenging for players, no matter how skilled you are. I think Super Meat Boy, the original, got a little too hard to where it was unforgiving to a degree to where some players would give up, including me, to be honest. I know, shame me all you want, but when you're not having fun, you eventually just stop playing. And I think the devs here took that into consideration, because the stages are designed to be short and challenging. There's never any super long-winded stage to where if you die, you feel like you lost so much progress that it's not worth retrying. And the ease of the stage design in this game is just light enough to where it's forgiving, but still has that challenging bite, especially towards the later half. Another reason why I say this game gradually grows you into it is because while you can beat the stage, getting the A+ rank is the true way of completing a stage, which can often be a lot more challenging due to the tighter time constraint it is to get to that rank. And once you beat a stage with A rank, you unlock the Void version of the stage. And these Void versions feel very authentic to the original game's difficulty. So I think the developers were very mindful about people nowadays not quite always having the time to live up to just playing a game over and over and over until you can finally beat a stage in frustration, because while that can be cathartic, that is also exhausting. And I think they found a great balance with this game, to where even a new player can have a level of beating the game, but masters of this game will have a lot of fun acing the game completely. Another fun delight about the stages were hidden collectibles like bandages that you have to go a little out of your way sometimes, or even go on a completely separate path, and then you have to bring that bandage all the way to the finishing goal to help build towards unlocking cameo characters. And I love good cameos, and these ones are so weird and perfectly fitting for the game, and it pushes me to try a little harder on each stage. Now, I played this entire game on Switch too, and overall, the game looked fine. It's definitely pretty low resolution for a Nintendo Switch 2 game, and the only graphic options in this game is to change the anti-aliasing. But to be honest, it's not a huge deal when you're in the focus of playing a difficult stage. And in handheld, it actually looks pretty good. Now, one instance that I do think the Switch 2 version suffers from is when you watch the replays. And if you know Super Meat Boy, replays are oddly cathartic to watch as you watch all your iterations at once race to the finish, and you get to rewatch all your failed attempts. It's oddly satisfying. And in the Switch 2 version, it seems to only save about 10 versions of your replay, which can be really disappointing when you have at least 50 attempts on one stage and you want to watch them all go and fail. But that's really just a gripe, as the gameplay still feels solid and runs smooth on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, with these shorter stages and 5 worlds with 15 stages in each, you can burn through this game pretty quick, at least to beat the game. But obviously the grand focus of a Super Meat Boy is mastering the game, and that's where you can really get your extra hours in with this game. Even then, it is still a shorter experience than Super Meat Boy, which I don't mind because these games require a lot of focus and tension. So so sometimes it being shorter might be for the best. Now, things I wish this game did was involve some sort of social aspect. I would love to watch replays of other players, or even have phantom ghosts play with me like that of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, where you get to watch other players play with you, but not really interact with them. Something like that would have really elevated this game, and it's a shame they didn't include it, though again, it's just a minor gripe. Now, this game also has boss fights, which are just kind of survival gauntlets, and the quality varies. Some feel challenging and others were a cakewalk, but I never got annoyed at one. So Super Meat Boy 3D really feels like it takes a approach to let players beat it how they want to beat it, and I really appreciate that. As someone who's tried to grow out of the rage gaming days of old, but it still carries that famous bite that Super Meat Boy has always carried with it. And this game lives up to the legacy that is Super Meat Boy. And I'm so happy to say that I liked this game a lot. It may not be perfect and it may be a bit more gentle than the first title, but it feels like the authentic Super Meat Boy experience. And that's my review of Super Meat Boy 3D. Thank you all for watching, and for more on all things gaming, subscribe to GameXplain. See ya!